Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson Football Channel for another Chelsea FC news video. It was going to be the tier list video, it's already done, it's ready to go, but I checked Chelsea Twitter again today, and in the recent times there's not really been that much news to report on, but today there are movements, there are developments, there are quotes that I want to discuss, and it's big. So before we get into anything, two things that I need to let you know about. First one is asking you to subscribe to the George Benson Football Channel because YouTube's apparently doing a cull of dead accounts, which means they're going to be deleting subscribers just as we're approaching the big 200k. So make sure you sub, turn on notifications. And the second thing is I went to get a tattoo today, didn't I? And I didn't quite get the Hammer out in top tattoo because I thought, well, that would kind of just be a little bit too scrappy. But instead, I got myself, you can't see it properly here, but I'll show you some footage within the tattoo studio. I got the 2 dates that we won the Champions League on my never forget arm, which is also where the Batshuayi tattoo from Atletico Madrid away lives. So if you like the sound of that, hit the like button on the video. We have got the dates that we won the Champions League forever engraved in my body, or on my body, not in my body, it's on my bloody arm for goodness sake. But we move into some big developments. You guys seen the title. Apparently, according to Ian McGarry, who appeared on the Transfer Window podcast, and who is also supposedly a relatively reliable source of information, Chelsea have agreed terms with Erling Haaland, which, I don't know about you boys and girls, but that is pretty big news. If there is legitimate truth behind this statement, then wow, Chelsea are making movements whilst the Euros are going on, and it seems as though a lot of clubs are being very slow with conducting their business this summer. If Chelsea have agreed personal terms with Erling Haaland, then it is the first legitimate big step towards making this transfer happen. The thing is, with Erling Haaland, despite there being a lot of financial issues at many of Europe's big clubs, we all know what goes on in football. Behind the scenes, there are dirty deals and just nonsense that goes on left, right and centre. So all of these clubs that say, we got no Super League, my name's Florentino Perez and I need some money. He's still going to find money if he can from somewhere to sign Erling Haaland, and then the repercussions of fines and whatever, it's just like, we got that somewhere too underneath the flipping bed, so we'll fix the problem. If Chelsea have actually spoken with Erling Haaland and his representatives and have agreed the terms of this deal, then the first part of the whole idea of this happening, which is, does Erling Haaland even want to play for Chelsea? Does he even want to be part of what is going to be an astonishing, extraordinary Thomas Tuchel project? The news, if he's agreed personal terms, is yes. It means that he is in fact interested in joining Chelsea. I've said a lot about Erling Haaland here on GBFC. I've said a lot about his character. I've said a lot about his goal scoring record, which absolutely speaks for itself. But I think the main thing that I often touch upon, but it kind of gets brushed under the carpet a little bit, I think Haaland is not only a quality player for the goals that he's scored, the age and the potential that he has, but the character that this guy has. I've been watching him closely on Instagram and on Twitter. He's currently on holiday. I think he's in Mykonos right now, having a whale of a time, as he should be. You know, the Greek islands, beautiful place, particularly in the summer, so the man deserves a holiday the same as anybody else, COVID or no COVID. And you just watch the demeanour. And what I mean by the demeanour is he always seems to be laughing. He always seems to have like a little joke up of his sleeve, which reminds me very much of Diego Costa. And you guys that have watched this channel from the beginning know that I've got nothing but great things to say about Diego Costa. I think he's a legendary striker for Chelsea. Didn't stay as long as I would like him to, but we need that kind of character in the dressing room. And the more that I see from Erling Haaland, the more I see these little Instagram clips of him blasting the ball into the top corner in a training session and then his reaction to the cameras. I think when we look at the personalities in this Chelsea dressing room right now, there are a lot of big characters, big personalities that are all at a similar age, and everyone seems to get along very well. Whether that's the English players like Chilwell, Mason Mount have become best friends. We know that Reece James is relatively quiet, but you've got Billy Gilmore in there as well, who's a bit of a character. And then you've also got Pulisic, who likes to be in front of the camera. You've got Havertz, who seemingly has a wonderful bond and is the reason why I've got this tattoo etched on my arm. All of these young players seem to get along very well, and a lot of them have not been playing together for a very long time. So You add another spicy character into that mix, and I think obviously, it speaks for itself. We know how good the young Chelsea squad already is. You add Erling Haaland into that mix, and wow, I think there is just absolutely incredible ceilings of potential of what Chelsea can achieve with someone like Haaland involved in this already talented squad. The obvious bit now is that Chelsea need to negotiate with Borussia Dortmund a deal that is going to be beneficial for Dortmund. Dortmund have been very, very strong in saying that Erling Haaland will stay this season and then he will leave at the end of next season, knowing full well that they will not receive as much money as they possibly could now. However, if Chelsea are able to agree personal terms, and we know from what we've heard throughout this entire saga so far, Erling Haaland is wanting a lot of money. Mino Raiola is wanting a lot of money in agent fees and everything else. So if Chelsea got that part done, I firmly believe they wouldn't have gone through that process without having a very decent deal in mind to persuade Borussia Dortmund to sell this summer. So obviously here on GBFC, my job is just to talk about the stories that are being reported, give my speculative views on it, and update you guys on the situation. As of right now, Erling Haaland is not a Chelsea player, but the more we feed in to the social media pendulums and the more that we read all of these stories, it looks as though, whilst everybody else is sleeping, Chelsea are seriously looking to get their business done. The other news regarding this deal, reported from Simon Phillips, which I absolutely completely agree with this, whether it is actually something they're looking to do or just generally it leaves Chelsea in a great position. The negotiation phase right now for Erling Haaland between Chelsea and Borussia Dortmund also isn't just about bringing in Erling Haaland to Chelsea, which of course could be one of the biggest footballing deals there has ever been. Chelsea are also reportedly working on building this relationship with Dortmund, which is already pretty good. You remember the Batshuayi loan, we bought Christian Pulisic. We are looking to try and sweeten things up with Dortmund so that in the future we can go out and get Jude Bellingham. He is an absolute top-class talent. He's already doing it for England at the Euros. And Chelsea have been long-term admirers of Jude Bellingham ever since he was a young teenager. He obviously still is a teenager. And Chelsea are looking at this transfer for Haaland. And if we can appease Borussia Dortmund and make them happy with the deal so that they get the financial push they need, Chelsea get the player they want, and if Chelsea can negotiate fairly and well and actually offer Dortmund something that is beneficial to both parties and without trying to soak as much as we possibly can, then it leaves Chelsea in incredibly good stead if we are to go for Jude Bellingham in the future. The Bellingham thing, I spoke about it a couple of months ago now, saying that Chelsea were interested in him this summer. I think Borussia Dortmund have got to be very careful. They've got 3 players that are heavily wanted by all of Europe's top clubs: Sancho, Haaland and Bellingham. And if they were to sell all 3 of them this year, it would be a bit of a disaster for them because that takes away 3 of their top players in their squad, which would leave them, after seeing them struggle in the Bundesliga at times last season, it would leave them seriously struggling personnel-wise next season. But at the same time, if they can lock up a contract for Jude Bellingham, then if he's signed up for 2025, they know that when he turns 20, 21, 22, as long as his career trajectory continues the way it looks like it's going to, they would be able to command an exceptionally high fee for Jude Bellingham in the future. So Dortmund at the moment, they're looking to secure a contract extension for Bellingham. Haaland, they're open if the offer is correct and it matches what they really want, which is a lot of flipping money. It's up to Chelsea as to whether or not they want to get this deal done, and I think they should, and I think they will. I think Erling Haaland is going to become a Chelsea player this summer. Sancho looks like he's on his way to United, so yeah, it's looking good in the Chelsea camp. The final story that I want to talk about today are the reports again that Achraf Hakimi has actually been talking to Chelsea, and it is looking more and more likely as the days go on that Chelsea might well be able to get their man. If we sign Hakimi and Haaland this summer, regardless of anyone else that might come in, I still think we might go for a defensive midfielder. I'm already absolutely buzzing with the way that I see this window going this summer. It's looking good, Chelsea fans. I'm absolutely buzzing about it. I wanted to make this video for you guys today, in case you didn't see the news on Twitter. And again, just to give my speculative opinion on whether or not this is going to happen. And I've said it for weeks. I believe Erling Haaland is going to sign for Chelsea. I'm still going to keep spamming it all over social media. That is going to wrap things up here. We've got one final piece of news, and it's kind of good news about Tony Rudiger. Supposedly, he went to try and bite Paul Pogba in the game yesterday between France and Germany. Bit of a silly move. It did look as if he got kind of close, but I don't quite know why Rudiger would even attempt to do that. He's a European champion. Paul Pogba is just a central midfielder for France who relies on the brilliance of European champion N'Golo Kante to even play anywhere close to his best. So Rudy, keep your teeth in your mouth, mate. There's no need to do that, but it looks as though he's gotten away with it. But anyway, going to wrap up this video here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Got to go and have some water. Before I recorded this video, I ate a very spicy Massaman curry from a nice little Thai restaurant. So I'm going to go and zoop up on the old H2O. Thank you guys for watching. I love you all. See you all later. Come on, you Blues.